Welcome back. So the former NFP Secretary General Canaan Mdletshe has joined the MK party. He resigned from the National Freedom Party following his dissatisfaction with a coalition between the DA, the ANC, the IFP, as well as the National Freedom Party in KwaZulu-Natal. Mdletshe's membership was announced over the weekend by the MK leadership. Why did he jump ship? He joins us now to tell us more and also what informs his decision to join the MK party. A very good morning to you. Thank you so much for making time for us. So you have spoken before about the decision to leave the NFP, and now you've decided to join the MK party. What informed the decision to leave, and why the MK party?
No, thank you, Adrian. Good morning to you and the viewers at home. As you have undertaken that the main reason why I resigned from the NFP was simply because I could not be part of an organization which was prepared to form a coalition government with the parties like the Democratic Alliance and the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal, because the voters, first and foremost, have rejected the ANC through the votes on the 29th of May. And as for the DA, I can't even talk about the Democratic Alliance, because that is the political party that does not care about black people in this country. Therefore, the decision of the NFP to form a coalition government with the two parties, in particular the ANC, because KwaZulu-Natal is in a state of disarray because of the failures of the African National Congress. Therefore, on the 29th of May, KwaZulu-Natal residents had taken a decision to remove the ANC from power. Yet the NFP decides that, you know what, we are going to bring the ANC to the back door because we want to see to it being part of the government. That was the reason why I decided to leave the party. But I must say, Adrian, that this was the most difficult political decision I've ever had to make in my life, because I've been part of the National Freedom Party since its inception in 2011. Therefore, it was like I'm leaving part of myself in the NFP. I was divorcing myself from the party that has been there through thick and thin, that has been a part of my life, that I've built a relationship not only with the members of the party, but also with the late president of the organization. So it was a very painful and difficult decision to take, but I had to do it because my conscience would not allow me to continue serving in a party that has only went astray and decided to form a coalition.
How did you lose the debate in the NFP?
The NFP it states right now. I don't really want to talk much about the organization. I don't think it would be unfair to the party itself, to me, because I've since divorced organization. So.
Okay, Canaan, we seem to have a problem there with your line. Let's just quickly see if we can re-establish that line there. To Canaan Mdletshe, he is the former Secretary General now of the NFP. He resigned 2 weeks after the elections, and this is after, of course, the ANC lost power in KZN and the MK party securing about 45% of the votes. The NFP only securing one of the seats, but the NFP was quite important and critical to the decision that was eventually made, where we have a coalition in the KwaZulu-Natal provincial legislature. Let's try that again. Canaan was asking you, how did you lose the debate within the NFP?
We did not lose the debate per se. I think we had numerous engagements within the party, the leadership, at the leadership level, where we discussed the issue of coalitions, because it was clear even before the elections that we were going to have a coalition government in South Africa and in KwaZulu-Natal in particular. We had engaged several times, and during each time that we were engaging, we all agreed that unanimously that we must form part of a government with a political party that is going to get the majority of the votes, or that is going to be the leader in terms of the votes after the elections. So it caught me by surprise then when the party announced that we were going to form a coalition with the parties that have lost dismally during the elections.
How does that happen, though? Canaan, how does it happen that it catches the Secretary General of the party by surprise that his party is going to go into a coalition with the parties that didn't secure the majority of the votes?
Important things that happen at night when some of us are asleep, and We have meetings during the day, we agree, but some people will go behind our back and have meetings with certain individuals and decisions are taken without all of us informed. And that's why I'm saying it caught me by surprise, not only myself. In fact, I think out of the 6 office bearers, only 2 people were aware that we were going to form a coalition with the IFP, ANC, and the DN. Then that tells you then that there were things that were happening behind the scenes. And it tells you then that there were underhanded tactics that were used by political parties to influence the decision that was finally taken.
Who are those people? Who are those 2 individuals?
At this stage, I'm not comfortable in mentioning their names, but the people of KwaZulu-Natal, the NFP members, and I think the general South Africans are well aware who those people are. But as I'm saying, I'm not going to mention names here because that will mean then we'll have to come into a debate with those individuals, and I'm not prepared to debate anything involving the NFP anymore because I'm no longer the part of that organization. Yep. But the reality is there were meetings that happened behind the scenes. You know, some politicians are very naughty, Adrian, because they will have clandestine meetings at night and take decisions that affect the morale of the organization.
Well, it's interesting that you should mention that because that's exactly what the MK party leader is being accused of. And you're going to that party.
Unfortunately, Adrian, I'm not the spokesperson of the MK party. Yeah. I'm not in the leadership position in the MK party. Therefore, I'm not going to say or to speak on behalf of the MK party. If there are those insinuations or perceptions out there, well, unfortunately, we have to give the MK party an opportunity to respond. All I can tell you is that from where I'm coming from, there were meetings that were held at night while some of us were asleep after having had the meetings the entire day, and people were persuaded somehow to take decisions that have resulted in myself and other members leaving. Because to tell you the truth, I'm not the only person, the only leader who's leaving the NFP. There are a number of them who are going to be introduced to various political parties, but in particular to the MK party, because we're not happy at all with the decision to form a coalition with the political parties like the Democratic Alliance, which we know very well that its policies do not talk to black people of this country, and they don't care about what is happening to a poorest person out there in rural areas. Therefore, it was a decision based on conviction that we cannot be part and parcel of a government that has been formed through the back door.
Yeah, in an interview with News 24, you described the former president Jacob Zuma as, quote, father. And I want to take you now to the front page of The Citizen. I'm not too sure whether you've seen it. So the front page there is Zuma is a dictator. And this is in relation to the decision that was taken by the leader of the party to again fire the Secretary General of the MK party, Arthur Zwane, and where he is said to be saying in that letter that he states in that letter that he hopes that Zwane will fully cooperate with this decision and desist from continuing to serve in his capacity. How do you view the MK party and also reportage like this on the party that you've just joined?
As I've indicated earlier, out of that, I'm not going to speak for the MK party.
Yeah, don't speak for the MK party, but don't speak for the MK party, speak for yourself. Speak for yourself as a member of the MK party. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, yes, you're quite correct. Yes, I'm going to tell you one thing about President Zuma, because I've got a long experience of being in a close relationship or situation with the President Zuma. I've engaged President Zuma on several occasions. In fact, it's more than 10 times, even before he formed MK party. Therefore, I know him pretty well. Maybe some people have met President Zuma once or twice and they've concluded that he's a dictator. I'm not sure about that. All I know is that President Zuma is the kindest leader I've ever came across in my life. He's one of the warmest person, and when you get close to President Zuma, you can feel the warmth in him. You can feel humility. That is why each and every time President Zuma is around in his homestead in Nkandla, there are thousands of people who just come to see him because he's the type of person who's very comfortable sitting around ordinary citizens, people of this country. You can never find President Zuma only kissing gogos and babies during elections like some leaders are doing. You will find President Zuma in the midst of ordinary people in Nkandla. President Zuma is one of those leaders who, if there is a wedding, a traditional wedding in Nkandla, he will go out there clad in his traditional attire, participate like an insizwa. That tells you then the type of a person that he is. Those who feel that President Zuma is a dictator, maybe they know a different Zuma from the one that we know, from the one that I've engaged with, from the one that welcomed me on Saturday and gave me the warmest hugs that I've ever get from a leader.
Okay. What's your contribution to the party? What will you contribute to the MK party? Again, considering that you were the Secretary General of the NFP, which when you joined in 2011, when the party contested the 2014 general elections, you secured 6 seats. In the 2024 elections, you have 0 seats in the National Assembly, and you still managed to retain only 1 seat in the provincial legislature in KZN, and that was by a fraction of a percentage.
I think, Adrian, you are trying to insinuate something here, but I'm not going to dwell into it. But as things stand at the moment, I'm not joining the MK party for a certain position. I was not promised any position. I didn't make a demand of any position within the party. I'm only a member, not a member of the party who's going to contribute in building a formidable organization, ensuring that the party is living, is maintained, is strong on the ground, and that people keep on joining the party. Because what is critical in a political party is to ensure that the branches are alive, that the party is able to help people on the ground. Therefore, that will be my responsibility until such time perhaps the leadership of the party or President Zuma assign me to any deployment, and that which I'm going to take without any hesitation, because as I joined politics, I wanted to serve the people of this country, and I'm going to serve at any level that I'm deployed to. But currently, I'm not a member, and I'm working on the ground. And today, I would be in court to support the president. That's what I should be. All members of the organization expected to do. Therefore, I'm not joining MK party for a particular position.
Yeah. In conclusion, again, you speak about working on the ground. What is it that you would be able to contribute to the MK party that you weren't able to contribute to the NFP? Because the NFP's election showing was poor.
No, I think, Adrian, you need to be fair when you talk about the performance of the NFP. I think it is the only party in history of South Africa which lost its sitting president on the eve of the elections. You recall that President K.Mzansi suffered a stroke on the 17th of November 2014, just 5 months after being sworn in as the deputy minister. And from that time onwards, the party experienced challenges because without a leader or the president, obviously we're expecting the party to go through some challenges. But I think we must also be fair in your analysis to say that in 2016, the NFP failed to contest the local government elections, only participated in Ingutu, where we got only 1 councillor there. And take from 2016 to 2021, we participated in the 2021 local government elections with only 1 councillor. And out of our participation, we came out with 56 councillors, which for me is 500% achievement. I think that's a narrative that we should be talking about instead of saying the party is declining. Because as much as the NFP had some challenges, it showed that it can rise up when the time arises. But as I've said, I don't want to say much about the NFP, but the reality is in the MK party, as I've said, I'm going to work within the collective to make sure that we build a solid organization with its foundations rooted on the people. Because I can tell you one thing, Adrian, and that is the emblem of the Umkhonto weSizwe party is deeply rooted in the hearts of the people of KwaZulu-Natal and in parts of South Africa, and we are going to work on that to ensure that this support that MK party has in KwaZulu-Natal grows in all other provinces, because in 2029, we want to see MK Party being the leading party in government in South Africa and changing the lives of the people for the better.